Good morning, all you beautiful people out there. My name is Matt, and if I plan this right, this video should be going out on Christmas. So, grab your favorite seasonal beverage. I got a nice big cup of hot cocoa right here. Put on some very soft pajamas, maybe pull a blanket up over your head, but careful not to block your eyes. How are you supposed to watch the video then? And just get all cozy, because it is Christmas after all. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, I really hope you're having an absolutely amazing Thursday. Behind me is a pretty interesting build. It's kind of a cross between a Victorian era and a modern style. And don't get me wrong, it's pretty good, but it could definitely be better. And that's what I'm going to be focusing on today. 5 or maybe 6, I can't really count that well. Super easy ways to improve almost any build you have. Number 1, arches, overhangs, and supports. Now, in real life, arches are one of the most strongest shapes. You see them everywhere, and we can incorporate those. In these little rectangles we have, just pop some stairs in, and you really add a lot more depth because it's not just a block anymore. It's got a little more curvature, and it feels like there are more layers there. And now already the base is looking a whole lot better. The bottom isn't the only place we can add arches. On this little patio we have up here, we can put in different wall and fence type blocks to get a very interesting kind of shape. Now it doesn't quite go all the way across, so maybe just split it up, find the middle, should be there, and then we're just gonna pop these in like that and do it on the other side. And we can have a larger one there. And then you have your little patio area that's closed off and you can't jump off, but we also give it this really nice rolling kind of shape. In terms of support beams, anywhere you have these, you can really just pop them out. An extra block, and then pull them up to where you have them, just kind of like this, and do that for every other side. And just to make it look a little more interesting, I'm going to be putting the log texture on the base. The next thing I would recommend doing is adding in some foliage and some color. Right now, these windows, while very pretty, they're kind of plain, so I'm going to replace them with something that looks a little more smoky, a little more hazy, and it just gives it a little bit more difference in color, a little bit more variation. To add even more color in, where you have these little overhang areas, just put in a bunch of leaves. Maybe not on that last one, but all these other places, just throw in a bunch of leaves. And then I'm just gonna pop little buttons on, almost like nails or rivets, onto the faces of each of these logs. And with all this, you're adding a lot more life and a lot more vibrancy, and overall a lot more depth and variation into what you're making. The next thing I would change up is this roof. While kind of interesting, I think it leaves a lot to be desired, and so with some editing magic, we're going to change this up. Definitely a more interesting shape. All I did was I added some, I wouldn't call them dwarmers, but they stick out a lot more, and it's a lot, yeah, with a big sticky uppy bit in the middle. Personally, I think this looks better, but in all honesty, it's 100% subjective, and that's the incredible thing about this, is you can make it look however you want, and make it look how you want to. Now, how I did these little areas is I started like this, and then I decided I wanted to put in this spruce planking because it kind of matches the dark oak, or the stripped dark oak a little bit. And then I put in even more arches, of course. And then this covering up it, so from the bottom you see it overhangs a lot. And then I'm just going to put a central beam in the middle, and then our main material block, which is white concrete. And then you get this super cool little effect of it overhanging the rest of your building. One thing that's really interesting about the architecture of Disney World and specifically Main Street, USA. Or no, I guess that's in Disneyland, isn't it? I don't know. I haven't really been. Is instead of having all the buildings like this, they will have them all like this. And what this does is it kind of draws your eye to different locations that just a completely straight thing wouldn't. And having all this overhang makes it actually look larger than it really is. And honestly, the same goes for the opposite. If you have a really large skyscraper or something that you're trying to build, like this, and let's say your first level is here, then you make your second level about the same as your first one, but the third, and subsequently the fourth, and however farther up you go, get smaller. And what this does is it makes it look like it's even bigger than it really is, like it's even taller, because your brain tells you that this is the same size as up there. So it makes it look a lot more imposing than it would if it was just completely straight. And that's a quick lesson in forced perspective, which is, pretty much what we're doing here. We're forcing your eye in the location that me, as the builder, wants you to look. If you've been watching my survival Let's Play series, you probably knew I was going to say this from the beginning and you were just waiting for it. One thing that I love adding to almost every build is some sort of spire or spike. So just putting it on the end, or maybe a little bit closer to the... I like the end. Just some wall, and then some fence, and then an iron bar. I don't know why I like doing this so much, and I don't know why it makes it look so good, but it really just does. It's so good. We're doing the forced perspective thing again. These are a little bit longer than the ones up here, but it makes those look even taller. The final step is, I would say, the most difficult step, because of course you have this, and it looks absolutely incredible, and not to pat myself on my back here, but I think it looks really cool. So what can you do to make this better? What's this final step? Well, for that, I actually have to go into a different world. So here we are in a different world. This is one of my probably hundreds of test building worlds. I open up a new one about every month, and any sort of ideas or whatever I have, I just plop them in here. I wanted a sort of nether-themed suburban house, so it's right back there. There's a enormous steampunk build back there, a little bit more modern stuff, and even a cathedral that I never got to use for a video. But what I mean is, practice is the final step. And I know that sounds lame and dumb, like, leading up to this big thing and you're just practicing, it's stupid. But it really does mean a huge amount. You're not going to get to be an incredible athlete with just one day of throwing around a football, just as you're not going to be an incredible Minecraft builder with just one day of building a house. I guess this is a roundabout way of saying the final step is you, the viewer. You are the final step. It takes your hard work and your dedication to make whatever you're building really incredible. And it also takes you to be able to say, hey, yeah, I made that and I love how it looks. And on that sort of sweet, sappy note, I send you off with a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa. Whatever it is you're doing today, do it to the best of your ability. Look life in the face and don't back down. I hope you all have an incredibly wonderful time. I'll see you in the next one. Good night.